What's up, you guys, and welcome back to some more r/slash real talk stories with your boy RT and my dude Dale. You guys, today we're gonna dive into some real talk Am I the A-hole stories where OP decides that he is not gonna be walking his daughter down the aisle on her very special wedding day. You guys, this is not gonna end well. I already feel it in my bones. You guys, without any further ado, let's dive into this story, y'all.
I, male, 56, have 5 children. This is about 3 of them. Casey, female, 26, Alex, non-binary, 31, and Tom, male, 34. My daughter Casey is getting married this winter to her fiancé Max, 27, male, who she has been together with for about 4 years. I am covering the majority of the wedding expenses as Max's family lives in a different country, and with the currency exchange rate they won't be able to afford the wedding and both to come to the wedding. I have no issues with it and just want my little girl to be happy. Last week, while Casey was away, my children Alex and Tom came to visit with their families, and we were talking about wedding invitations. I was surprised to hear that they haven't received their wedding invitations, so I just thought that Casey haven't sent them out yet for everyone. Until my oldest and youngest daughters pointed out they have received their invitations with their kids and partners invited. I called my sister, who also said Casey has invited their whole family to the wedding too, and she received hers a while back, so I immediately saw red. Both Alex and Tom have husbands and have adopted children, and it seemed Casey has excluded them because of their choices. It also seemed weird since Casey has always been close to them and supported them when they came out as non-binary and gay respectively. I have called Casey and demanded an explanation. My daughter said that Max and his family don't feel comfortable with couples that are not traditional, and it goes against their culture, and that she hopes for my understanding. I have told her if that's the case, I will not be walking her down the aisle and pull out from paying for her wedding, as she cannot exclude her family like this when they did nothing wrong, and if her future in-law's opinion is so important to her, they can pay for the wedding. As a result, Casey has called me an a-hole and hung up crying. My children are on my side. My wife is torn, as she understands where Casey comes from, but agrees she shouldn't have excluded her siblings like this. Edit. Just wanted to add something about my wife. When I said she is torn and gets where Casey is coming from, it doesn't mean that she supports Casey's decision to exclude her siblings. She doesn't approve it in the slightest, however. As the mother of our children, she feels she should be there for all her children if they need her or want to talk, even if she doesn't agree with their choices. She is still deeply hurt by what Casey has said, as she absolutely adores Alex's and Tom's husbands and their children. So am I the a-hole for telling my daughter that I will not be walking her down the aisle unless she invites her siblings and their families to her wedding?
You know, the first thing that really came to my mind, outside of the obvious things that came to my mind, the first thing that came to my mind was, you know what? This bride-to-be's future husband could potentially be controlling. Their family could potentially be very controlling. It seems like she's not able to voice her opinions, her thoughts, because you know what? One thing that stuck out to me is that the father, OP, he explained how, she was very supportive in, her siblings, coming out about where they are with their identities and whatnot. But then for this to take place, it just seems like her voice is being shut down. So I want to put all of the blame on her, but at the same time, part of me feels like, being that the future husband's family is more traditional, it gets me to believe that they are like extremely traditional, where the wife just has no voice, can't voice her opinions, can't say what she feels. And you know what? I feel like there is a happy medium. I feel like there can be room for traditional ways of doing things, but I feel like this level of traditional is an extreme. I feel like it is an extreme. I do not feel like it is right. I do not feel like it is just. I feel like it is very discriminatory against OP's daughters, against the bride-to-be's siblings. I just feel like there is a whole lot that is wrong about this particular situation. So I do not blame the father, not one bit, for deciding to back out, take his money with him, and not walk his daughter down the aisle. As much of a disappointing situation as this is, I think that it's a thing where, OP's daughter has a lot to learn about decisions and how her decisions have long-standing consequences, especially when they are involving people that you quote-unquote love. One of the comments on this particular story says it best. Casey, which is the bride-to-be, can be bigoted on her own dime. Personally, I think that if she wants to be this bigoted, if she wants to be this hateful towards her own siblings, she can pay for it. Or the family can figure it out and they can pay for it. You know what? Happy cake day to both of them. Either way, OP, you are not the a-hole in this situation. Again, I would think I see a lot of red flags with, this particular family that Casey is marrying into. I feel like there could be some extremes with the level of traditionalism that they experience and that they subscribe to. Again, I feel like you can be traditional, but at the same time, that doesn't mean you have to be discriminatory or bigoted. You guys, next story, y'all.
My female 34 brother-in-law Luke is married to my stepsister Anna. Luke has a 9-year-old daughter Rue with his ex-wife, and he and Anna have a 4-year-old daughter Lola. I have a 6-year-old daughter Charlotte. Currently, Luke, Anna, the kids, our parents, and my brother are staying at my house for a holiday. 2 days ago, Rue snuck into my daughter's playroom and broke several of her toys and things. This was all captured on nanny cam. Rue has always been destructive, and Luke has always been less than forthcoming with paying up for the things she's broken, though to be fair, we have never asked him to. This time, however, seeing in 4K how malicious Rue was and how Luke has done nothing to curb her behavior over the years, I was extremely angry. Also, there is a piece of one of the items she broke that we've been unable to find, which will up the cost of repair, and a couple of dress-up items were custom made. Luke was extremely apologetic, but I told him the only way to make this right would be to pay for what got ruined, and I presented him with an itemized invoice. Luke said he didn't have that kind of money readily available, but I am adamant that he and Rue cannot keep acting like these things don't have consequences. I said either he pays or he can find somewhere else to stay for the duration of the holiday or go home. He has said he will contact the bank tomorrow for money, but he is very upset about it and is accusing me of sinking him into difficult financial straits. My parents think I am in the wrong for threatening to kick him out if he doesn't pay. They think I should ask for only what he can comfortably afford to pay, and that maybe I shouldn't invite them back. But they think I shouldn't ruin a trip that's already started. Anna is stuck in the middle. She agrees that Luke doesn't do enough about Rue's behavior, but is worried how this is going to affect everyone's relationships, and also if they'll be able to afford the second trip they had planned for the summer break. Rue has been sulking and crying pretty much non-stop since it happened, which has put Luke even more on edge. I don't think I'm the a-hole for finally taking a stand against this sort of thing, but at the same time, I don't want to be punishing Anna and Lola by proxy or having a lasting impact on their lives. Am I the a-hole?
So I think that there is an angle to this story that a lot of people probably would not notice. Maybe some of you guys have noticed, but I feel like this is something that most people probably would not notice. So I want to paint a picture for you guys. So Rue's coming from her father's previous marriage with her mom. Okay, so Rue experiences divorce. She experiences a broken home. There's a lot of emotional instability and emotional damage that takes place because of this particular life event. It's an unfortunate life event, but it's a life event that happens, unfortunately, so often within modern society. So there's a lot of brokenness. Rue is uprooted from this previous way of life to this new way of life with her new stepmom, which I'm sure and I'm hopeful that she shows Rue, as much love as she shows her own biological children. But there's still a lot of damage that takes place when a child experiences parents divorcing. So Rue is acting out. She's doing things that she shouldn't be doing. She's being irresponsible. She is, being very, very irresponsible when it comes to other people's property. She's acting out. She's misbehaving. I feel like there could be some emotional situations that have not been dealt with yet. I feel like there are probably some issues, some emotional, some mental, spiritual issues that have not been talked through, that have not been constructively dealt with as a result of her parents divorcing. Now, that does not justify Rue turning around and doing what she does in destroying property that does not belong to her. Absolutely not. That does not excuse it at all. But I feel like her father is probably not dealing with the root cause of the issue. Either she's not being disciplined properly, and or she is just not been given the opportunity to kind of talk through some of the inner issues that she's dealing with as a result of her parents divorcing. I've seen kids do it. That's why that's one of the things that really stood out to me first and foremost. It feels like Rue is acting out as a result of the divorce between her father and her mother. Now, let's get to Luke real quick. I think that Luke should not be surprised that OP wants all of the items replenished. You know, OP wants the money for all of the items to be given back to her so that she can go back and replace the items that Luke's daughter destroyed. I want to just paint a picture. Let's just say Luke had a brand new MacBook Pro. Luke had his family over. Okay, they were in the presence of said MacBook Pro, and one of the family members was to destroy the MacBook Pro as they were, researching something online. Luke would want his money back. Luke would want that MacBook replaced, and I don't blame him for wanting that MacBook replaced. So he shouldn't be surprised that OP wants her broken and destroyed property replaced, and she wants to be compensated for the damages that took place to her property. So Luke shouldn't be surprised. And, I get the parents being like, well, Luke should only have to pay what he can, what he feels comfortable paying. No, because you know what? If somebody said, well, I know your MacBook cost you about $3,000, but I'm only comfortable giving you about $100, maybe $200-$300. Absolutely not. That would not fly in my book. So OP, you're not the a-hole for wanting the full amount to cover all of the damages and replacing all of the damaged property that you have. Rue probably needs, some emotional help to get through and to kind of work through some of the things that she's dealing with, as well as, I think that Luke should not be surprised that OP is requesting a full level of compensation for damaged property. It should not come as a surprise. So, Luke, you're a bit of an a-hole. Rue, I don't want to say that you're an a-hole at all. I think you just have some things that you need to work through. You're a child. And OP, you are definitely not the a-hole for what it is that you are requesting.
My 33. Dad had an affair and got the woman pregnant, leading to my parents' divorce when I was 6. He was involved enough in my life, covered my college and things like that. But as I got into my teens, I was a lot closer to my mom. He and his wife had a daughter, Anna, and they also had 2 more kids later, my half-siblings. I talk to them sometimes, but we're not close. Anna is nice enough, but she also has a history of being jealous of me, and we don't have a sister relationship at all. Anna got married last year and she moved out of state with her husband. We recently got bad news that Anna and her husband were in a serious accident. My dad and his family flew out yesterday and he told me to come to see Anna. The problem is me and my boyfriend are going on vacation in a few days. Everything's booked obviously, so it's not possible for me to go without changing our plans. I told Dad and he got pretty upset. His wife also tried to talk to me, but I was firm and told them I understand where they're coming from, but I already have plans. Me and Dad had a bit of an argument, so I eventually snapped and said he can't expect me to drop everything to please them, and this situation is his doing. I told my best friend the situation, and she thought I was being kind of a jerk and told me to post here. So, am I the a-hole?
It's very unfortunate that these step-siblings don't have a close relationship with one another. Similar to the last story, there's probably a lot of emotional resentment. There's probably a lot of emotional baggage that is just built up amongst the individuals who are involved. There's probably a lot of resentment built up within OP for what OP's father did. Anna and her other siblings, the step-siblings, probably have a level of resentment for whatever reason. There's probably animosity amongst everyone in this story. And again, it probably has not been dealt with in the ways in which it should have been dealt with. I know OP mentioned that Anna had been jealous for different reasons. Whatever the reasons are, it's really unfortunate that that's the way that their relationship has been molded. Okay, so me personally, I've got step siblings. I don't refer to them as step siblings. I just look at them as my siblings. But that's just my relationship with my family. Every family is different. Now with me, if my siblings ended up in an accident and were hospitalized, granted, we don't know the severity of the issue. We don't know if they're unconscious and in stable condition, or if they're in critical condition. We don't fully know the big picture. Either way, we know that there was an accident that took place, and we know that they're in the hospital. So obviously, in my mind, if the father is saying, hey, look, you should take some time to come and visit your sister in the hospital, it must be very, very, very serious. Now, OP is definitely entitled to what she wants to do. She's entitled to say, no, I do not desire to do this, or yes, I desire to do that. It's unfortunate that she has desired not to go and visit her stepsister who is in the hospital, and she's decided to continue with her own plans, but it's her prerogative to do so. So I don't think that OP is an a-hole for making the decision not to visit her sister and to, continue with her plans as originally established. I think it's very sad. I think that the father should have and probably could have approached it a little bit differently. The father could have probably been like, hey, look, your sister's in the hospital. I know you may have things going on. It would be great if you could see her, if you could, fly out to visit. But if you can't, at least try to make a phone call. Again, we don't know the severity. She might not be conscious enough to be able to speak or communicate. But whatever it is, create alternative options. But again, I don't think that OP's an a-hole for deciding not to visit her sister. I think it's very sad. I think it just goes to show how brokenness within family situations and family circumstances can really, really create a very sad dynamic amongst family members and relatives. But then again, I could be wrong. You guys, I want y'all to let me know down in the comments, do you think that OP is an a-hole for not going to visit her sister? Granted, me personally, I would be on the first plane to go and visit my sibling who's in the hospital, stepsister, stepbrother, or full biological sibling. Regardless of where we are on the spectrum, my behind would be on the first plane out of here to go visit them, but every family is different. So you guys, let me know down in the comment section what y'all think. If y'all think that OP is the a-hole, if you guys think that the dad's the a-hole, well, I mean, I do think that the dad's an a-hole for having the affair. That's just outright wrong. But you guys, let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you guys have enjoyed today's video, y'all, please be sure to smash the like button. You guys, go ahead and hit the subscription button as well as the bell notification icon. That way you guys will be notified every single time we upload a brand new video here on this channel. You guys, I appreciate y'all for sticking around and for diving into some real talk stories with us here today. And until next time, many blessings and much love, y'all.